Hello, welcome everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy and today I'm going to be giving you a prediction reading for the 21st of June. Now, if you are new to my channel, I just let my guides channel through to you and give global predictions, different messages, whatever comes up for the day. So we'll close our eyes and we'll just get started. Now, the guides are saying we're still getting different responses for different people. Now, this is the people waking up. They're responding in different ways. Like I said, they're going to wake up at different paces. Like, we're not going to have this big group that just suddenly all wakes up together. It's going to happen in stages because they're all going through their soul breakdowns in a different way. And, of course, they're being fed more garbage to bring the fear back up. I just watch the news here. I'm always telling you what's happening in Australia. And the latest is now we've got the C/flu jab, which, of course, is a combined single dose. You only have to have one. Isn't that wonderful? That's what they were putting out on the news this morning. And, of course, they're going to start making them here at the Moderna factory in Victoria, Melbourne, the most locked down city in the world. Is conveniently building a Moderna factory right here in Australia. So again, this is why people are going to be waking up at different stages, because they're still being fed garbage and BS. We know it is, but there's going to be these people, like I said yesterday, that are now going to be in two minds again. Oh, should I keep going? Oh, I better get that jab just to keep my immune system up, because this is all really still scary. So we're still going to have these portion of these people waking up that are still going to be confused. But then you've got the people in the waking up process who are just like, nah, this is getting beyond a joke now. I'm totally seeing all this garbage. And they're starting to see it. So we've got this huge amount of people, not you guys watching my channel. We know where we are. We're in Terabella, getting on with life over here, staying detached from all the garbage. But we've got these people now who are really on shaky ground, because it's like, see, what happens is, and it's like I always say to you, they get this knowing, they get this feeling, they're using their senses because they're knowing something is amiss, something isn't adding up. It's like they can sense now they're not getting the full story. But, of course, we're still going to have these ones that are teetering on the edge over here that want to go back to the mass psychosis because that felt safe and you were dictated to and you were told what to do and you didn't have to do any thinking. We've still got like a portion of them there teetering on that edge. And, you know, sometimes you can't help everybody, can you? And you can't help wake everybody up. But I'm telling you, there's probably, I reckon, 2/3 of these people that are in that middle portion of waking up are really starting to question and call things out now, there, because they're really starting to see through the garbage. So we've got this other, it's like just a real mix now of the people that are waking up at these real tipping points, I would say. They're either going to, you know, I said the other day, the fork in the road, they're either going to tip this way and wake up, or they're going to tip that way and go back to sleep and back into a coma. So this is where we're at with this great awakening process, where they're sort of very focused on this middle people at the moment. I'll just see where else we go with this. Yeah, the guides are saying the whole electricity, the renewables, this is something that's really triggered a big response in a lot of these people waking up, because they've started to realize, hang on a minute, what's all this about? See, you got to think about it. You think about people who are in that industry, for example. You think of engineers, you think of people who work in the coal industry, you think of people who work with renewables. These people have a pretty good perspective of their industry. Like, there's a lot of them out there, and they see, hang on, this is not there's no sense to it, because they start to see the lies. See, people start to see the lies start to come to fruition, and that's where they start to get their clarity, because there's a lot of people that work in some of these industries, you know, you imagine people who work in the on the electricity grids and like different things like that. What's going to happen to all their jobs? You know, these are the things that cause people to wake up, because they get that shock. It's that shock factor, like they don't see things coming, and then suddenly their jobs are under threat. The coal mines are being shut down here in Australia, so that means a whole town, if you think about it, sometimes mining towns, the whole thing revolves around, for example, a coal mine. And then when you shut that coal mine down, what's everybody going to do for work? Who's going to come to the local pub and buy a meal? Even a pub would struggle. So this is the kind of stuff that we've got to look at, the enormity of what's happening in this awakening process. It's affecting all different people now for all different reasons. And that's why they're starting to really scratch their head and go, no, this is not making sense. I don't understand why they're doing this. And that's what's happening to these ones that are really starting to wake now. It's like they're being shaken to the core about the truth and all the corruption and the stuff that's going on. Gosh, here at the coal mines, can you imagine what all those CEOs and the people in charge and everything, all the money they've pulled from these things? And the little people that have got up, worked really hard, are getting no benefit, they're going to lose their job. So, this is the truth. This is stuff that's happening before people's very eyes. And look, that's just an example, but this is the enormity of what's causing people to wake up. I'll just see where else we go with this today. They're showing me like somebody rolling up a garden hose. So it's like, this is the people rolling out the agenda. It's like they have rolled out like a garden hose representing their agenda, and they've had to get the kinks out of the hose. So they've almost like laid it, you think about it, when your hose is really kinked up, you lay it flat in the sun, and sometimes the sun will soften it enough that you can kind of re-roll it up onto the hose like hook, so that it's nice and smooth and it rolls back up really easily and it looks all very neat and tidy. Well, this is what I'm kind of getting for the the agenda rollout. They've had to sort of iron out the kinks, and they've had to straighten things out. Like I said, just on the news, we had talking about the single shot again. So it's like they've had to kind of get it's that distraction, and they have to get that little bit of fear up again in people, because it helps to iron out the kinks. Because things don't, if you've got a kink in your hose, for example, if it's twisted, it stops the water getting to the end. And that's the analogy that the guides are giving me today. Sometimes you'll have to flip and spin your hose in order to get the water coming out the end, because that can really cause it to completely block the water. And that's what I'm getting. These government leaders have had to iron out the kinks in this agenda because they were getting too many blockages along the way. And now they've got it, well, they're sort of saying to me now, they're kind of laying it out in the sun. This hose, for example, which represents the agenda, they've sort of laid it out in the sun, and they're looking at ways that they can soften, like softening the hose in the sun. This is the softening of their implementation. So they're going to come at people kind of, as much as I said it's rolling out and it's happening really fast, which we know that it is, they're looking at that softly approach. It's like I said yesterday with these subliminal messages. Not subliminal to us, because we see them as soon as it's on, we see it with our crystal glasses that we see things with. But this is what they're doing. They're trying to make this as smoother so that everything can go through like the hose and just come out the other side, and everything is smooth, and they've ironed all the kinks out. And this is what I'm getting now. They're going to do this subliminal stuff because, if you think about the kinks, we were a kink in the start of the hose. We all stood up and fought for our freedom, and they didn't like that. So, Trudeau had to find ways to sort of untwist that hose. Bit harsh. His measures were a bit harsh, admittedly. But this is kind of what we're getting. They need this all to flow. And that's what I'm definitely getting today. They need this flow. So they're going to look at these subliminal messages to keep people, I would say, under control and listening to their narrative. Like, like I just saw, how many people do you think out there saw that news I saw this morning and are going to think, oh, gee, maybe I should get that fourth or fifth jab? That's what they're working on. They're working on, it's not as deep as the original mass psychosis. I don't know how they did that, but it was very, very clever. But this one now is becoming more about an individual decision. So that's why I'm saying a lot of them are still teetering on that edge, and it's a tipping point for them. Do I go back with all the ones stuck in that mass psychosis, or do I start to really fight for my freedom and push back? And these are those kinks. I'm definitely getting that today. They've got to do this softly approach. See, and you've got to remember too, and I know in Canada, you guys, Trudeau was so abrupt in his approach. He didn't even hide anything. He didn't care about the people at all. And he just was going to put the hose, for example, like turn the tap and put it on really high pressure and just shoot everything out at people. But by doing that, it actually it scared people in a bad way, that his country started to wake up. And that was like a disaster, because then and if anything, it highlighted to the rest of the world what was really going on. Because then we all started to hear about Klaus Schwab. Why was the UN flying in to police, the truckers in Ottawa? These are the things that started to happen. And that's why turning that hose on abruptly hasn't worked. And they've learnt this, these leaders and global people rolling out this agenda, the reset. They've realised that didn't work. I mean, you look at Macron, for example, when he went to the vote, he was very low-key after that Trudeau event. And he did things very softly. He took a much softer approach. And that's what I'm saying, is they've had to iron the kinks out and work out what is the best way to get this to flow. So it's by, again, doing the subliminal messages, doing things subtly, slowly introducing things. So they've had to sort of be smarter in their approach. So I'm definitely getting that today. Trudeau turned the tap on too fast. We know that. These are just analogies, of course. If you're new to my channel, I get given a lot of visuals on this channel. Hopefully you can relate to some of them. I'll just see what else we get today. For some reason, I'm getting masses and masses of cornfields. I'm not sure if that means anything to you guys out there, but I am getting masses and masses of cornfields. Now, this could also be a visual to me of there is an abundance of food and that we are being lied to. There are masses and masses of food out there, and we know they're lying. If you're watching my channel, we know they're lying about the food shortages, blah, blah, blah. But I'm showing that there's like full crops. For some reason it's corn, but there's full crops, and like they're like ready to be harvested. And they can't keep blaming climate change for destroying crops because of flooding. Gosh, I had a girl serve me yesterday in the supermarket, and there was no lettuce because, as we all know, lettuce has gone through the roof price-wise. But she said that there's no lettuce because of all the flooding. There's just no vegetables being grown. And I was like, I was just shaking my head going, what is this girl talking about? Like, seriously? Like, it's just, but they believe whatever they're fed. If they're fed that on the media, then that's what they believe, and that's what they will repeat. They just repeat it, and you just go, what are you talking about? So I'm getting these corn crops, because what they're showing me is that it's a fully grown field of produce. So we know we're being lied to about all these things as well. But it could also be, and just saying, that we're producing a lot of popcorn for our eating popcorn, watching the movie. That's something that we joke about a lot, I know, on my channel, that when you're already awake, you're sitting back now and you're watching this movie play out before you. So it could also be that the corn is like the popcorn, and we're needing a crap load of corn, because there's a lot of shows coming. There's a lot of movies. I talk about sequels a lot. Well, that could even be crossing over and relating to what we're talking about, because the significance on the corn, the fields of corn, could actually also mean that there's going to be a lot of shows to come. And let's start popping some popcorn in the popcorn machine over here behind Wilson's fence. And I'm definitely getting that, though, that these crops are like fully grown, and they're showing me that they're so strong, healthy. There's nothing wrong with them. It's all lies and propaganda, and they're just hoping that people fall for it. And look, to be honest, sometimes, and I know you guys are probably the same out there, the guides are kind of saying to me that even though we see a lot, and I know that we do, you know that you do, we don't see what sometimes their real plans are. So we get snippets and we figure it out ourselves because we're able to join the dots. But, again, it's that, what is really going on? Sometimes I even ask those questions. I go, what is going on here? I mean, we know about, they're trying to make us become vegans, and there's a lot of, I heard that Bill Gates has actually bought a lot of farming land over there as well that produces these vegan products and things like that. So there's a lot of this, like, we hear a lot of snippets and things ourselves, and it's like we have to do the maths still. We're still doing maths 3 years later and piecing these things together to try and see where this is all heading and what this is going to equal. So, that's what I'm getting. We're still trying to work these things out too. It's not like we're sitting over here and we've got it all sorted and we have a huge amount sorted, and we see a huge amount, but it's always that iceberg. And I get back to that iceberg image. There's always so much more beneath the surface than just the little bit of iceberg we see at the top. I'm definitely getting that today, that, we're only seeing still a portion of what they are trying to bring out. As much as you dig, and we know that they're very good at policing anything on the platforms and all the information, they're very, very good at hiding a lot of the things that they're really wanting to bring out long term. They only let out, it's almost like, to me, what the guides are saying, they only let out the things that we're sort of, that they want us to know, if that makes sense. And I think if you're watching my videos, you'll understand what I'm saying there. Like, they'll only release the stuff that they know, oh, well, who cares if we're doing a bit of digital, face technology and all that, identifying people. We do that anyway, like. So they're kind of allowing these things on the platform because certain things seem to pop up a lot that they just don't seem to hide. And so they let a certain amount be there because it's that subliminal, who's going to care about digital stuff, a lot. And to be honest, a lot of these young people in that aren't even worried about it. They just see that as the new normal, the digital era. And I know a lot of you watching my channel are sort of around my age group. We're sort of, a lot of us are in that 40 to 60 age group, even younger. I've got a variety of people that certainly watch my channel, and that's great if you're awake and you see these things, but we see things very differently and from a very different perspective. As you know, I get a lot of 80s songs on here, but we just see things just differently. We see like red flags. Other people see or some people see, oh, this is really positive, we're really getting innovative and we're moving forward, like with microchips implanted in your hands. I think you've got them in Switzerland, haven't you already, or Sweden over there, and you can just go beep at the ATM machine, or beep when you're paying for something, like, and young people will probably love that. They don't care about being tracked and traced. But we see that so differently, as such a big invasion of our personal body and mind, because they can take information from our mind through these devices. So everybody sees things like, I think what I'm saying here and what the guides are trying to tell us is that we all see things from a different perspective and viewpoint, and that's fine. But, half of it's still, not half, I'd say 3/4 of all this rollout and the reset agenda and different things are still being hidden from everybody. There's so much stuff that we still don't know about. It might unfold in time, and like I said before, we might not ever know some of it. Because they only, allow certain amounts out. And we remember that they do own everything and control everything. If we look at BlackRock, Vanguard, Bill Gates, of course, owns everything. That they're just only allowing, certain things. If there's a word comes up, they're not going to share that. They're not going to let all of us over here that are awake know about some of the things they're wanting to do. Because then we'd stand up again. So they're very, very strict on what goes on these platforms. I'm definitely getting that. I did say that the other day. They're getting tighter and tighter. So we all have to be really careful what words we use, I'll just see if there's any closing messages or where else we go with this today. I'm getting Canada, and I'm getting that chief of police. I believe, and I think you guys in Canada would know that, I'm sure he was the chief of police in Ottawa. He was really taken down. He was really told to shut up and put up. Shut up and put up with the nonsense that was put upon him. And the problem is it really affected him. It affected him very deeply. He was embarrassed. He never felt heard. He felt powerless. It wasn't a fringe minority. He knew it wasn't a fringe minority. I'm definitely getting that. There's a lot around this chief of police. And apparently he's a very well-respected man. He's got a lot of people in his division, I'm saying division, I'm not sure what you call it, that support him. He's got a lot of good support around him. And again, it's this strength in numbers. So whatever is happening there at the moment, he has that strength to kind of stand up and have his voice. As much as he might be kind of, it's showing me quivering in his boots, and he probably does feel fear about being honest, but he also feels like the people around him will support him with that honesty. So I'm definitely getting that today, that chief of police. There's a lot going on around him and the injustices, and he had a good rapport with the... Oh, he's tired. Everybody's so tired of this, aren't they? Everyone is tired of fighting. Everyone. Even in Canada, you guys are so tired of fighting this. And I think, to be honest, the fact that I yawned and this police chief and the people around him are tired of the lies and deception and the way their image has been tarnished, and he's trying to right that road now. He wants to make it right because he felt it was never right. He had a good rapport with the truckers, and he knows that trucker movement, the freedom fighters, they really started to shift things and really change the world and the globe. And he feels that connection to that movement. So I think that's a really positive thing in Canada, that he's a very strong character. He wasn't someone they could easily squash, is what I'm getting. So fingers crossed he stands up and has that support in Canada. We all know that just went south, didn't it, over there? He was just ripped away. Even here in Australia, we were like, where's he gone? Because he was pretty good. They were all very respectful until the orders came down, of course. And then suddenly all the UN jets were flying in and everything seemed to change and go up about 20 notches. So that's what I'm getting in Canada. I hope that there's some sort of movement and support network created around him, because he sees the truths and the injustice of all of this as well. So you're not alone in Canada. There are these little subgroups, I talk about them a lot, standing up and coming together and fighting for their human rights, basically. I'll see if there's any closing messages today. Yeah, I'm just getting that visual of the capitals, the capitals, the capitals, the capitals, the capitals. Oh, I keep getting that image of the Hunger Games in the capital. Like everything sort of worked from the capital and all the trains shot out to the districts. Well, that's what we're like. Everything is starting in the capitals and it's like, boom. It's going to be that like explosive event now. Capitals all around the globe. This is all around the globe. They're going to start in the capital cities and start to really filter these things out. Because like I said, it's easy to implement things in the capital cities because a lot of that digital, a lot of that, keeping people safe, as they say, is easy. To have those posters up, it's easy. To see big billboards, they're everywhere. It's not unusual. Like I said, you're going to see these renewable, gosh, we probably already see them already, but there's going to be these little quotes and the messages of, they'll show like a before and after. So they'll show someone like filling up with unleaded, and then they'll show someone, plugging in their rechargeable car, or there's going to be these like comparison pictures as well of the old and the new, because it's that subliminal message again where, oh, are you one of these people that's just driving like an unleaded car, or you need to be looking after your planet. So it's this guilt and shaming because people are going to see that visual and think, oh, that's me, I better go and get my electric car sorted. Or there'll be the solar panels on the roof pictures, but there'll be these like before and after. So it'll be that, like I said, the guilt and the shaming, and trying to plant these seeds of doubt in people, like, oh, I should be doing something more to help the environment. And I'm not saying that's all bad, because obviously there's some things that are certainly gonna help the environment. But I think at the end of the day, we all know, as the people that are already awake and seeing these things, we know that this comes back to money and power. And if it wasn't such a big issue, the money and power, people would really embrace that. But here we are 3 years later, still going, and people still think it's about the CV virus. And now we're moving on to the next thing. So that it's going to go on and on. If people keep complying, it's going to go on and on to the next thing. We know that. Oh, yep, here we are. Climate change, yep, renewables. This is where it just keeps unfolding. The next thing will be, the meat, the this, the that. Oh, yeah, we've got to become vegans, and then there'll be something else. And then it's just this pattern. All the while, like in between each subject that they're creating to roll out their reset fourth industrial revolution, they're going to use the old CV in between. So now we've got, of course, apparently there's a new Omicron strain just going crazy around the globe again. I'm sure it's got some crazy name, and they're going to be using that and throwing that in between. Just to keep people a little on guard and on edge, because that's more for the people teetering that, oh, is this real? Is it not real? It doesn't feel real. Why are they doing this? How can this cause that? How can a pandemic cause this? So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep these people, or a portion of these people, waking up still in that fear and that sort of dread and uncertainty of if things are real. So I'll just see if there's one last message today. Oh, I'm getting a song today. High Hopes. I don't know who sings it. I'm sure you guys know. It's a pretty new modern song. High Hopes. My daughter absolutely loves it. She plays it all the time. But I think we have got to keep high hopes. And I don't know who sings it. Go and check it out. Look up High Hopes. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. It's pretty modern, actually. You young ones out there, if anyone's watching my videos, you'll know it. Maybe write it down below. I know you guys are great at doing that. You always write little things down below and let us all know what they are. My memory's a little bit... I get so many messages coming in. Sometimes my brain gets a little bit overwhelmed with stuff, and it's hard to think clear sometimes. But I think we need to have high hopes, because we want to keep living, and we want to keep having that hope that there's going to be like this. I know for you guys watching my videos, we always hope there's going to be this like shift in consciousness, and it's going to really raise that frequency and vibration so that it helps to wake other people up. So it's almost like it's showing me like waves. I think if anyone's been to a big football stadium or a big concert or something like that, everybody does the Mexican wave and they all jump up and it moves right around the stadium. It's such a great sight to behold. But this is kind of what I'm getting, like, you know, when people rise up, then the next person rises up, then the next person rises up. So you get this like flow around the stadium, and it's just brilliant. Yeah, it's called the Mexican wave, I'm sure of it. And that's what I'm getting, this connection with the high hopes and that Mexican wave, like combined. We have to have hope, you know. And I think living in Terra Bella, it always allows us that clear thinking space and clear mind. And we still always have that hope that more people are going to stand up and more people are going to wake up. And look, they are. They're protesting. We know they're protesting in the UK. You know, they stood up about the cost of living the other day. John was telling me, and that's fantastic. We need people standing up. It's not our turn anymore. You know, I always say that we've done the real hard fight in the very beginning, and we've got to have high hopes that other people are going to join us and do the Mexican wave and create this beautiful flow, for example, in the stadium, but this is going to be globally. We'll say it's around the globe. We're all going to do the Mexican wave today. Oh, look, I'm going to leave you with that today. Go check out that song, High Hopes, and I will leave you with the Mexican wave, and you all do your Mexican wave today, and we'll keep spreading these high vibes and this great energy. So look, take care. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like buttons, and I will see you very soon. Bye from Australia. I'll see you tomorrow.